My name is Abhishek Balakrishnan. Most of my friends call me Abhi. I'm currently a strategist at BCG Brighthouse, Boston Consulting's purpose and creative consulting firm. Going into college, one of the biggest things that I wanted to pick up was understanding how businesses work. I've definitely been inspired by that my whole life. I grew up in Dubai, and a big reason why Dubai is, the way it is beyond its just incredible tenacity is just seeing how like industry and businesses from all shape and sizes have come in and just really built the economy, the region. And I was always curious to see like, how can you take an idea from start to finish and not only grow it into a startup, but grow that startup into a 30-year-old, powerhouse of a business. I think we had a lot of great kind of learnings on, this is what it takes to actually start a business. Here are some ideas that, you could potentially run with, but we need to also look at like what actually makes sense for customers, for your employees when you're running that business. That I think a lot of the learnings came from Northeastern, and then carrying that into a little bit more of what I'm doing post grad. A lot of those foundational skills of like how do you build a business kind of transcends into what I do today, where a lot of the work that we do for a lot of these larger corporations and big businesses in helping them align with their purpose comes from looking at like a lot of those foundations of where the business started, looking at those founding stories, why the founder went out of their way to create this business and jump off that ledge. What were the pillars of their success in the beginning of their journey of starting that business, and how does those key success milestones have been present throughout their history, and even today 40, 30 years later is still very impactful. So I mean, a lot of the work that I learned and did at Northeastern really does play a role into what I do today, because I understand the breadth of like a business life scale from like start to finish. I'm someone who has gone like head first into the Northeastern entrepreneurial experience since day one. And with that, I've been able to kind of observe and get involved and also see the pros and cons of it. And I would say the best thing that I have ever witnessed is the journey of just seeing where your curiosity goes with like entrepreneurship and following that and seeing where it ends up is something that I think a lot of students will only get at Northeastern and working with the entrepreneurial program there, because there's just so many ways for you to get involved. And it doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you have to want to be an investor. And it doesn't mean that you need to care about like launching a business. It just means you need to think about innovation and think about curiosity and think about validating ideas, which you can apply across any field or any discipline. And you'll get an opportunity to meet some really cool people. And all it just takes is just, going up to someone and just asking how you can get involved, and the rest will kind of follow, because, I've seen so many of my friends, peers, just kind of dabble in it and then end up like doing something they're super passionate about by the end of it, because it really does push you to really, think for yourself, jump for yourself, but also do it in a way that's super supported. And I've seen a lot of other schools come up to me and ask how we do it. And it's, I think, a secret sauce that only Northeastern has. I found my like heart in IDEA, which is the venture accelerator. I got a really cool opportunity to be the CEO of IDEA. It's something that I've seen at my 3 years of working at IDEA. Each CEO kind of brings their own strategic development to build the organization, to build their own leadership style. And it's a very unique kind of like opportunity. A lot of, not a lot of people get at Northeastern, and not a lot of people get in general at 23 years old, leading $1 million company that's, international, running a team of 45 people. It's cool. And I think I've learned a lot about, different things in terms of like personal growth and also like career growth. In personal growth, I learned a lot about leadership, things to do and not to do, kind of really stretching the limits of like, what I want to take on as a person, and also what I need to kind of like look at and really like have an honest conversation about like how do I want to grow, whether it be like taking in feedback or being able to listen to people and motivate people. And that was really hard, but also a very encouraging thing to kind of get through. And career development, you really do get the opportunity to explore whatever makes sense for the organization. A big part of what I wanted to explore was how can I take this 10-year organization and set it up for the next 10 years. And a lot of that was like, what is strategy? Like where can I like double down on strategy? And that was really exciting for me because I had to think about not only like business development strategy, but like marketing strategy, fundraising strategy, like technical strategy, making sure there was foundations for our organization to grow. And that I think has been that I've been able to apply to like what I do today and think about how I want to develop my career, where I get really excited about, brand strategy or business development strategy, helping businesses build like the right toolkit to grow. But then another thing I also realized I was excited about was product development. Like what can we actually develop as like tools people use every day that make the business better or make the product better or make the customers' lives better. And that was something I only could have gotten out of this experience from like trial and error and working with a really, really high caliber team. I think the first one, you really want to just get a really good experience that, builds like a baseline for you. Like there's going to be so many things that you want to do, but I think the part of the process is also knowing where you're at and being comfortable with that baseline of, okay, this is the job I'm going into. What can I take from this experience and learn from, like, okay, I want to learn more about like international success, and this is the company I'm working at. Like I'm going to double down on like learning about international success and taking that experience and bringing it back into the classroom, whether it be in your group projects or even changing up the way you want to like learn about your Northeastern like path, and changing up maybe like you want to add a different major or minor to it. I would say like I loved being able to go to like a company like Red Bull and like learn about like branding and how do you go about taking that level of excitement and branding to India, for example, and then come back and work with amazing entrepreneurs through idea, or work with my like classroom peers on like a group project and seeing how Red Bull did that and apply it to some of these group projects and see how that goes. And then looking at into my next co-op in like strategic consulting, looking at like, okay, now I know a little bit more branding. Now I want to get better at like how do you work with big companies and what they're struggling with. And then kind of bridging that back into entrepreneurship was something that I found really exciting. Is not always you're going to get what you set out to do, but there's ways to connect it back to what you're really, really interested in, and finding that passion for that interest comes through co-op and like a little bit of exploring too. One, get involved sooner and talk to people. There's so many people at Northeastern that are wanting to help, whether they're like really great mentors of professors or, curious students who are looking to also figure out the same thing you are, or even potentially some, excited alumni that like, is just really happy to kind of see someone, taking their education seriously and wanting to explore. The second thing is just give myself grace. I think as a college student, there's a lot of pressure, and a lot of times you do feel like you want to, keep up and swim above the water. But, there are other times where maybe you should just enjoy floating a little bit and giving yourself grace. And, you're going to learn, you're going to make mistakes. College is a great opportunity for you to meet the best people in your life, to find exactly what you are passionate about doing, and also for you to learn a lot